Dwayne Chester is an individual that I would say early on in his adolescence was probably misguided and misdirected, and succumbed to the street environment like many students.
When I first came to Hyde Park, it was a lot of gangs in there. Hey, I wanted to be popular. You know, I used to gang bang really hard. I used to, you know, shoot at people. For me, making it to Stony, to back across Cottage, you know, I knew that I was going to involve myself with something that's negative.
Constantly getting suspended, terrible grades, poor attendance, very disrespectful, mouthy.
Freshman and sophomore year, I had multiples of suspensions. I could say every time I came off a suspension, I was going right back on the suspension. I was starting to pick my grades up because I knew my junior year would determine what college I would be accepted to, you know, and it would be the year that I was taking my ACT, you know, SAT and all that stuff like that.
But it wasn't until his senior year when he started to implement those thoughts. He's really passionate about being a great father.
Well, he really cherished our money. He loved him to death, so he wanted to be around for him.
And like right before my grandma had passed, like a couple days before my grandma passed, I had changed my grandma for the first time out of years. And my grandma had been bedbound, like I could say, for like 2 years. It was a wet diaper. I was like happy about it is because, you know, I knew it was like coming to the end for my grandma, you know, and I wanted to be proud about something that I had did for her.
By January, I started to notice a change in Dwayne's attitude. I would, you know, admonish him for some of the things that he did, and, you know, he'd come back and apologize without being prompted. Or he'd say, you know, I shouldn't have did that, I should have made a better decision. So I would see a difference in his grades. He was on the honor roll. He was coming to school every day and enthusiastic about coming to school because he was working toward a goal finally in his life, and he wanted to graduate.
I'm with this guy, Jason, my mentor. I'm with him almost every day. I talk to him like every other hour.
Jason really did a lot for Lil Wayne. He changed him, basically. Because he, like, sometimes Lil Wayne will drift off. And Jason try to keep him on the right path, show him different things in life, better things, that it ain't all about these streets out here.
As I was walking off, they told me, you know, come on, you're going to be locked up. You'll be in charge of Salt and Berry to a security guard, you know, for pushing them. And like before my court day, I had wrote the school a letter.
He did it reluctantly. Didn't think it was going to be any gains in his favor for writing the letter. I said, but you'll see that this will impact individuals at the school, and it did. And the judge gave him a lighter sentence. I believe it was 40 hours of community service because the presence of his mentor, and he told him, hey, listen to this guy. He knows a little something. He left the courtroom with his cousin Tim, and I told him to go home because every time he hangs around the school, doesn't leave after he's supposed to, trouble seems to find him.
We left there at 2:30, then we made it back around the school area around the time they get out. I was in front of the building or whatever. You know, I had gotten into an altercation with a guy named Jamar. I pushed him. You know, I like put my fist in his face, like shoved him up like this. And like I was tempting him to swing, but he didn't swing. And then the dean of the school was walking up. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave you alone. You know, I ain't even got time for that because they're gonna take my graduation and my prom. So after we had got on the bus and everything, and we was passing Dorchester, coming to Woodlawn, you know, I had seen the gang of guys standing in front of aid office. And you know, I know these guys don't like us because they affiliated over on this side of Cottage and we affiliated on that side of Cottage. So as I had came off the bus, and everything. You know, my girl was right there. She like, come on, you got a child. Come on, come on, come on, you got a child and everything. And like after that, I had heard the shots go off. You know, and I turned myself like this. You know, he had caught me right here. You know, he had caught me because I had lift up. And you know, as the bullet had went in, I had stayed on the floor. And I turned around. And as I looked at him, I thought he was trying to get on top of me and start shooting me some more. You know, I thought I was going to die. I kept asking the lady, like, man, am I going to die? Am I okay? I'm like, man, I got something to live for. You know, I'm like, man, there's people, I'm like, I'm really trying to change. You know, I haven't been on nothing. I'm really trying to change. I'm like, why did this have to happen to me?
After I realized that he was okay and hadn't died at the moment, I was just thinking, I told that boy to go home. And had he been riding with me, I'd have dropped him off at home. So that's what went through my head. Then it was crisis intervention, crisis mode. Called the director of the Chicago Urban League, David McCaskill, and all the other administrators that were supposed to report to. Hyde Park thought that it would be in the best interest for Dwayne to be homebound schooling. And they plan on letting him graduate as well as attend prom.
My graduation is June 13th, and it will start at 1 o'clock. And yes, I will be involved with that. In August of this year, I'm looking forward to attending Langston University, which is in Oklahoma, a HBCU. And I also will be taking on business administration, you know, concentration in marketing, major in that.
And I tell him all the time, I said, you know, with the business mind that you have, he's very savvy, very personable. I said, you're going to be a CEO of a company one day.
The example I want to set for my son is that, you know, don't sit and wait for anybody to give you anything. You know, you got to go out and get it on your own. You know, I want him to be like me, but I don't want him to be like me because I don't want him to make the same mistakes I did. God knows that, you know, I'm a good person. He know that I'm trying to change, so he want to see me change, and he want to see me be that. You know, he want to see me do good things in my life, and that's what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm trying to be successful.